So you are thinking of buying a Kodak M35 film camera. If you had asked me before if I thought that was a good idea, I would have said, this definitely seems too good to be true. It's very poorly made. This wouldn't survive a trip. I don't even think I'd get it through the airport, to be honest. I'd probably break it before the plane had took off. Probably not. But if you ask me that question now, after I just used the Kodak M35 to shoot all of this, the answer might have changed. So here we are again, you, me, a Kodak M35, like the 29th Fast and Furious movie that nobody ever asked for. This camera just keeps on coming back. Inevitably, this camera is back in my hands again because, put simply, I love the photos from this camera. I just could not recommend it because I just didn't trust it. I mean, really, look at this thing. It's like, it's a toy, right? Look at all these flimsy little parts, like this little spinny thing here. So flimsy. So to get to the bottom of this issue that I have with the build quality of this camera, once and for all, we are raising the stakes. And I cannot believe what I'm about to say, but I took this camera on a 9-hour flight to America, and for multiple days on the trip, used it as my only camera. And I am so stoked that I did. Is every single photo a banger? Of course not. And I think that's the first thing that you need to understand about this camera if you're thinking of buying one. For every one cool photo that you get, there will probably be two utterly blank, unusable ones. The lens doesn't let in much light at all with an aperture of f11, but I knew that going into this, and therefore I knew to try and work around it. There are literally no setting dials on this camera, but you can move into spots with more light or just do what I did and keep the flash on all the time. I don't really have a choice, mine's broken and is stuck on, which works fine for me. I mean, you can take the battery out the bottom, obviously, if you don't want to use a flash. I digress. But if you understand the camera's limitations, it's obviously much easier to work around them, mostly. I've been shooting film photos for a really long time, and one of the things people often say if they don't shoot film is, oh, it must be so risky not knowing if you got the photo or not, because you can't like just look at the screen and check. And whilst that is true, it's also one of my favourite things about film photography. And this camera is basically film photography on sudden death mode. There is no middle ground. You're either coming away with a cool looking photo or nothing at all. And I feel like all the photos that I'm showing you in this video really capture that nostalgic 90s vacation vibe, which is exactly what I wanted. And as someone who grew up in the 90s in the UK and way too poor to even consider going to Disneyland as a kid, the look that these photos have is the exact look that I wanted them to have. Like, there's just something about how these photos look that just, it hits right for me. And I am genuinely impressed that this camera has survived this trip, because no camera is safe in my camera bag. It is not for the weak. Like, I do not baby my gear. I was on like roller coasters with this camera around my wrist, like just, it was smacking off the side of roller coasters, like whilst I was riding them. And yet here it is, going strong. I mean, will it last forever? Absolutely not. But it's still going now, which I'm impressed. Because my major gripe with this camera was the build quality. I've always said, mostly, that I really like the photos out of this camera. My main issue, the big problem that I had why I couldn't recommend this to people, was because I was just like, it's never gonna survive a trip. There's no way. You buy this to go on holiday with it, it ain't surviving, and it's literally proven me wrong. The photos look sick at the Kodak M35, and now I've finally put this thing through its paces on an actual trip. I can say, with chest, that if you want a fun, lo-fi, toy film camera that might produce the odd banger photo along the way, it might be worth picking up a Kodak M35. Words I never thought I'd say. And I'm an adult, I'm a mature adult, I'm happy to hold my hands up and say that I was possibly, maybe, potentially, kinda, not entirely, but also a little bit wrong. Now I am going to make a video all about how to use this camera, because whilst it is pretty straightforward in that there is literally a shutter button and you wind it on, there are a few things that I've learned after putting like 10 plus rolls through this thing that may be helpful, especially for first time users. There is also a cool hack that I figured out to change the aperture on this camera as well, so I'll be talking all about that in the upcoming video. So if that sounds like something you might be interested in, then yeah, stick around for the next one. So that is me. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you checking out the video. It's great to see you. I hope you are well. I hope you're not getting a case of the seasonal sads. I am genuinely devastated when we go into winter, because something just happens to my brain when it gets dark and miserable outside. I'm just like, nah, this isn't it. This isn't it. So I hope that if you are the same as me in that regard, you're remembering to do things that make you happy and that are good for you and make you feel all warm and fuzzy inside. I hope you are well. I hope your family is well. I hope your dog is well. Please do provide a little ear scratch from me for the pooch. And hopefully I will catch you in the next one. Peace.